Hey everybody, Omar here, once again, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back and real excited to show you what I have today, but I'm pretty sure you can guess. My last few knives have been Chris Reeve knives, and this is no different, huh? Let's go insane. What I have is a very special unboxing because this is a long time coming knife for me. This was actually probably my second favorite knife in the Chris Reeve lineup to get, and I waited so long to get one because the Chris Reeve factory was backed up on orders on all of these, and he still is. So, you know, I don't know if you can even get one right now, but I got mine or picked mine up at my favorite store, the Epicurean Edge, and they were very, very happy to help me deplete myself of my funds. So, let's get right into it. We are going to go ahead and unbox today the Chris Reeve Umnumzaan, which means the boss. The Umnumzaan plain drop point blade. And let's open them up and do the routine. Once again, for any of you guys that have never seen an unboxing of a Chris Reeve knife, that's totally understandable because these things are freaking expensive. But for some reason, they're not that expensive if you have a credit card like I do. So, let's go ahead and get started. Here's the folder. Once again, very special packaging from Chris Reeve. We have the information card on the knife. If I can get to that. There we go. This describes the knife in detail. It's called the Umnumzaan, which means the boss. And on the back, there's some information on there on how to lube your knife. They always give very good details on information on how you can maintain your knife on there. This is the description of the knife itself. Okay. And we also get a sticker. These stickers are constantly changing. I mean, I think I have like 5 different stickers. 5 different Chris Reeve stickers, which is kind of interesting. You'd think they'd all be the same, but they're not. And you also get, once again, the registration card, which, of course, you know, these days, thanks to technology, we don't actually have to fill them out by paper. You can do that online. And, of course, the most important item in the box, the birth card. And my knife is, I guess, a little over, looks like a couple of weeks old only. Mine's born August 28th, 2018. And something that normally included in the package is the opening of the Umnumzaan, which I'm going to get to in a second, because that's kind of an interesting topic to talk about. Let's go ahead and get right into it, because everybody's anticipating, you know, what it is, which is the knife itself. So let's get into that. I'm going to put all this stuff away. And of course, again, you know, you have the box with the tools in it. So we'll get to that also. And the Loctite and the very famous Chris Reeve lube to lube your knife. And here's the knife right here. It's all wrapped up, packaged into the nice little cloth that they give you. This is not the way it comes, by the way. I actually pulled it up this way. I'll probably show you guys how I do that one day. But let's go ahead and take a look at the knife. We'll put all this stuff aside. Gonna get into it. And here he is, the boss. The Chris Reeve Umnumzaan. So there you go. Now, what's interesting about this knife is it pretty much dispels any rumors that Chris Reeve is against knife flicking. The reason I say that is very simple. This is a flicker knife. This is probably Chris Reeve's only real flicker knife. Take a good close look at it. Let's go ahead and open it up and see. There you go. take a good quick look. It's got the crosshatch pattern on there. And you've also got the, there's an R right there, which is actually the travel stop on it. And of course your pocket clip. Really beautiful knife overall. This guy is wicked smooth, very smooth. And of all the Chris Reeve knives to purchase, if you are afraid to take your knife apart, guess what? This is the easiest one in the entire lineup. Why? It's just 2 screws. Check it out, guys. There's your backspacer and your pivot. No other screw at all. Just 1 and 2. That's it to take this knife apart. Now, getting back to what I was saying, this is Chris Reeve's very first flicker knife. One of the main differences between the Chris Reeve Umnumzaan and the Sebenza 21. One of the biggest differences between these two knives is that there is a stop pin on the Sebenza 21, and as you can see, there's no stop pin on the Umnumzaan. Why? That's what these guys are for. These are not officially, I mean, it's kind of interesting because Hinderer does this as well. He has blade stops, and people kind of think that they're thumb studs, but they're really not, because he actually includes a flipper on his knife. I'm talking about the zero tolerance 04562. Let me put the Sebenza 21 away. The 04562. So he puts a flipper on his knife, but on the Umnumzaan there is no flipper. You just get 2 blade stops, excuse me, slash thumb studs, if you want to call them that. And it's just an interesting thing to see, because usually blade stops are not made to open the knife, but since there's no other way to open it, Chris Reeve actually designed the knife so that the blade stops actually double as thumb studs, even though they're really not. The knife also comes with a glass breaker on the tip, which I thought was really interesting. It's just an overall beautiful knife. Pocket clip, famous Chris Reeve pocket clip there on the back, and you also have your special pin for your lanyard. Overall, this knife, I was very surprised by the action for it being a flipper. It was pretty much this smooth right out of the box. I would like to say, however, that the knife is not fall shut smooth. It doesn't, see, it's kind of a little stiff, and there are a dozen videos out there on the Umnumzaan that say that they are that stiff. However, it is still a smooth knife, and it's still a very hydraulic piece, so that doesn't detract you from buying the knife. Another main difference between the Umnumzaan and the Sebenza 21 are quite a lot of differences. First off, on the Sebenza 21, you notice the famous round crowning. That's present on almost all Chris Reeve knives. And on the Umnumzaan, he went more the traditional route. You have more of the squared off top on the knife, which is kind of interesting. I got the drop point blade with S35VN, by the way. So that's a big difference right there. He's basically telling you, from looking at this knife and the design of the knife, that this is a real working man's work knife. This knife was meant to be flicked out. This knife was meant to be a really hard user, even more of a hard user than, say, the Sebenza 21. Once again, it's all about accentuating. This pretty much accentuates that it's a slicer, even though you can use it as a hard-working knife. And this is more of a hard-working knife, which is accentuated more as a hard-working knife than, say, a slicer, but you can still slice with it. So it's all about definition with Chris Reeve, and how you know, when you purchase his knife, he actually, even though he doesn't advertise it, he does make his knives available for activity, or whatever it is that you want to use it for. If you're not a collector and you're searching for a tool, Chris Reeve actually fits that as well. There are some very interesting things on the knife. The lock bar, for example, I thought that that was really interesting. Unlike the Sebenza 21 and the Nkosi, the Sebenza 21 lock bar is fairly easy to open or push out in the direction to open and close the knife. It's really not a problem. With the Umnumzaan, it's a little bit different of a feel. This sucker is actually quite hard to push out to get the blade closed. It took me a while to get comfortable to do that, but once you get past it, it actually gets a little easier. But when you first get the knife, it's just kind of a shock to feel, I guess, kind of pain. I don't know if pain's the right word, but it's not very comfortable to push the lock bar out just to close the bar, to close the knife, excuse me. And to make matters worse, which makes me laugh, is he has an over travel stop right there, as if pushing it out to the over travel stop isn't hard enough. He's actually included a travel stop, I guess, for those bionic people that actually want to rip the whole entire thing and push it all the way over. I really don't see how that's possible. If you ever get your hands on one of these, you'll know what I'm talking about. Secondly, another interesting thing about this knife, you have these rubber O-rings on the knife. I guess that's what they call them. A lot of people have kind of laughed at that. They said that he put the O-rings on the knife so you can open your knife quietly, I guess. That's pretty funny, but I don't believe that's why the O-rings are there. I honestly believe that the O-rings are there to prevent you from slamming the blade stops into the titanium. But, you know, again, it's titanium, folks. I mean, what are you really going to do? I mean, how hard of a force would you need to actually crack this titanium? That's almost impossible. I don't think even the Bionic Man could do that. This knife is so tight with the tolerances. It's just an interesting overall knife for the fact that it is a flicker knife. It really, really did surprise me. Once again, it just has a backspacer over there and your pivot bushing. The pivot bushing includes two phosphor bronze washers, so that's how it opens. Inside the knife, you have the phosphor bronze washers in there. They're the same exact size, which is great. That makes the knife fairly smooth. As you can see, you can swipe it closed. It will not fall shut, but you can swipe it closed. The knife is always perfectly centered because that is the way Chris Reeve designs his knives. Most companies, to get the centering right, they do it with adjustments. Chris Reeve actually does it with the scales. He basically pushes the scales together and leaves at least probably maybe a 0.5 millimeter on each side to keep the knife from rubbing up against the scales. And I gotta tell you, it works. It really works. Now you can loosen the pivot on this knife to make it even looser if you choose to do that, but it will, I guess, off-center the knife in some way. Although because the scales are so close, you probably can't really tell unless you're looking at it very closely. So let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Once again, here's the Sebenza 21, as you can see. It is a large knife. The blade is 3.6 inches. The handle, I believe, is roughly, about 4 inches, close to about 4 inches in length. I don't have the exact specs on that. You probably go ahead and take a look. I've never been a big specs person, so I do apologize for that. The knife is made with S35 VN. It is a steel that Chris Reeve pretty much had a hand in making with Crucible. And here it is up against the regular Sebenza 21. Okay. How about a knife most of you guys are probably more familiar with? The Spyderco Swiss Bowie. So as you can see, it is a large knife. There you go. So it's a large knife. But ironically, because of the way the knife is shaped, it kind of threw me off. If you look at the large Sebenza 21, this is sort of a thin, elongated knife. So when you're looking at it and you put your hand on it, this inch here makes you think that the knife's actually a lot larger versus, say, the Umnumzaan, where my hand practically looks like it's covering the entire knife. You know, I mean, it feels that way. So because the way the knife is shaped, it actually seems a lot, I guess, shorter than the Sebenza 21. It's an illusion, I know, but that's how I pretty much felt about the knife. One more size comparison. Here it is up against the ZT 0900. It's sliding right off the table there. You can see that. So there you go. There, it is a very big knife. So if you're not into big knives, you probably won't really be into Chris Reeve because he doesn't have a medium-sized knife. I feel the Chris Reeve market, to be honest with you, is just begging for a medium-sized Sebenza 21 or, you know, maybe a medium-sized, I don't know, Inkosi or something that fits this market, because most of us kind of enjoy this size. But with Chris Reeve, you can only get your knife either really big or really small. Why that is, I don't know, but that's how he pretty much envisions his knives, and so we don't question it. At least I know I don't. Either way, it doesn't detract me from loving his knives. I do enjoy using his knives. If you are strictly a collector, I highly recommend getting a Chris Reeve knife, because it's probably going to be the only knife you're not going to be afraid to use because of the spa treatment. Overall, the knife really is a large departure from what Chris Reeve normally does. The fact that it is a flicking knife, I think he definitely made it more of a success for his first flicker type knife. Really, really surprised me, and I'm sure if you're going to purchase a knife, it's going to surprise you too. Even though this is a bit painful to push out when you first get it. So there you have it, the Umnumzaan, Chris Reeve, the Boss. Definitely highly recommend this. Just from holding it in my hand and opening up a few boxes, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth review of this knife once it's been, you know, used quite well. Also, I will not be purchasing knives for I don't know how long, but unfortunately I won't be able to buy any more knives. But my next knife purchase, I can tell you, is going to be a Benchmade Anthem. I've been after that one for a really, really long time, so I'll be reviewing that knife as well. Other than that, the Umnumzaan, the Boss, there you go, there you have it. The knife, as you know, is very, very expensive. This knife I bought brand new in box for $495, and believe it or not, folks, that's actually a bargain compared to the rest of the lineup of the Chris Reeve knives. You get a lot of knife for that price. Without tax, the knife comes to about $450. I have seen these on eBay for much cheaper. I've seen them for right around $375 used. Now, keep this in mind. I highly recommend going on eBay to pick up a Chris Reeve knife. What most people do, if they feel their pocket is ready for such a purchase as this, they will go on eBay and they will try and find a used Chris Reeve knife. And what they do is they'll purchase the knife used, however beat up it is. Then they'll send it off to Chris Reeve, right, for the spa treatment, and then what you will get is probably a knife that looks as brand new as mine does. That is pretty much how good the Chris Reeve warranty service is. So you may want to think about that the next time you're purchasing a knife, because when you're purchasing a Chris Reeve knife, you're buying it for the life of the knife. In a sense that, wouldn't we love to see This knife get all beat up. I dare anyone to take this knife, go ahead and use the hell out of it, beat it up, and send it back to Spyderco and say, hey, can you make my knife look brand new again? How much you want to bet Spyderco is going to laugh in your face? And that alone is the reason why you pay as much money as you do for a Chris Reeve knife. So if you're a tool person and you're looking for a knife to last you for a lifetime, definitely Chris Reeve is the way to go. You buy the knife, however much it costs, $600, $500, whatever. You've got that knife for life, and Chris Reeve will maintain that knife in the best condition possible with the spot treatment. Definitely something to think about when you're doing your next knife purchase. I mean, if you've got your eye on quite a few knives right now, and you're kind of thinking, man, I think I'm ready to push that Chris Reeve button, I definitely highly recommend it. I have 6 of his knives so far. I plan on getting all 8, folks. For the simple fact that, yes, I am a collector, but I'm not going to be afraid to use these knives at all. I'm going to really, really use them. Use them good. So anyhow, there you have it. The Chris Reeve Umnumzaan. Check it out. If you own this knife or you have this knife, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All your thoughts on what you think of this knife. Just let me know. Leave your comments and questions below. I'd love to hear from you. Guys, I'm coming up on 94 subscribers. I really can't thank all of you guys enough for making that happen. When I reach 100, I'll celebrate with you. We'll do something. I don't know what. But I'll do something, and I really do hope to continue making these videos because I do enjoy them. I would like to get better at them, maybe not let the clock run so long. But, you know, you have a passion for a hobby. You want to share it with others. Let everybody know, hey, what's up? Because I'm not really a Facebook person or an Instagram person, but YouTube, yeah. Because my passion for this will make me come out of my closet. So, hey. Once again, this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off, hoping you'll find your next piece of sharp art in your happiness box, whatever that is. Very beautiful. Thanks again, Omar, signing off. Have a nice night, guys.